Hi, you're watching Saska Travelers, and today we find ourselves on the east side of Crooked Lake, located on the southern portion of east central Saskatchewan. According to a 2016 engineering tender, the 9-bay concrete timber dam structure was built in 1942. In 2011-2016, floodwaters breached the banks of Crooked Lake and the nearby Qu'appelle River, making the dam inaccessible for maintenance. Because the dam is located on Cowessess First Nations land, it is owned by the federal government. Its operation, however, has been taken over by the province's water security agency, the WSA. This all changed in 2014 when a long-standing court case seeking compensation for the past flood damages was finally settled. The subject matter of this proceedings was originally submitted in 1986 by the Qu'appelle Valley Indian Development Authority for and on behalf of 8 First Nations along the Qu'appelle River. The latest flood claim was deemed to be filed with the Ministry of Indian Affairs and Northern Development on June 19, 2019. The issue dating back to 1942, when the federal government built water control structures on Echo, Crooked, and Round Lakes, which led to the flooding of some First Nations reserves downstream. Work to renew the dam structure was supposed to begin in 2018. As part of the settlement agreement, the WSA received $9.25 million from the federal government to operate, maintain, rehabilitate the Crooked Lake structure. In December 1941, the PFRA informed the Department of Indian Affairs that it planned to construct control structures at Crooked Lake and Round Lake on reserve lands, and that expropriation proceedings would be initiated if required. The PFRA proceeded with construction of the Round Lake and Crooked Lake dams on reserve lands without obtaining necessary approvals and consent of the band as required under the Indian Act. The level of the lake was raised by approximately 3 to 4 feet, which caused an increase in the levels of the Qu'appelle River. Flooding of the nearby reserve lands occurred almost immediately after construction of the Round Lake and Crooked Lake dams, and then again in 1943, the PFRA denied responsibility for the flooding. Major floods occurred again in 1947 and 1948, and intermediately from the date of construction and operation of the Round Lake and Crooked Lake dams. The unlawful flooding and damage caused by nearby First Nation reserves was a breach of Treaty 4, the Indian Act, and the First Nations riparian rights. It also constituted a breach of the Crown's fiduciary obligations to protect reserve lands and honor the Crown by refusing to mitigate or compensate the First Nation for such damages. Today, located on the northeastern end of Crooked Lake, is Sunset Beach. In 1943, a community of cottages known as Sunset Beach was built on the land previously patented by the Hudson Bay Company. Also in 1943, the municipality of Grayson asked for assistance in constructing a new road into Sunset Beach from the Qu'appelle Trail, since the existing road was prone to flooding. A surrender meeting was held at the Qu'appelle Band on April 4, 1944. Too few band members were present, so the Indian agent arranged to have another meeting. At that meeting, the Indian agent claimed that the band wished to surrender the entire reserve. There was no indication why the band might agree to surrender this quantity of land when only 1.5 acres was required for the access road. The surrender was approved by the government in council on August 7, 1944. After the surrender of Indian Reserve 72A in 1944, a dispute arose over the location of the road allowance, and the sale of the land was delayed for 11 years. In 1955, the entire surrendered reserve was sold to Mr. Criddle for $2,500, who received letters of patent for 64.36 acres, although 68.5 acres of reserve land were surrendered. Due to flooding on the Qu'appelle River, the land available for sale was reduced. The road allowance was granted to the municipality for 1.5 acres. The road was built near the lakefront, and today this area was developed with lakefront cabins and has 22 campsites and a full-service convenience store and a small arcade. There's also a beach and swimming area that contains a playground, boat launch, and a beach volleyball court. Every Sunday at 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. from June to September, the local farmers from the area bring their fresh vegetables, fruit, meat, and baked goods to sell at the flea market at Sunset Beach. Our next stop while at Crooked Lake is a trail located just north of the Crooked Lake Provincial Park. Nestled in the scenic Qu'appelle Valley, the Hilltop Burial Grounds Trail at Crooked Lake Provincial Park is a 1.7 kilometer trail with an elevation climb of about 88 meters. The uphill first half is maintained, but the second part on the downhill is not. Remember to pack water, proper footwear, and this trail takes about an hour tops to complete and includes fantastic views of Crooked Lake and the Provincial Park and the Qu'appelle Valley. The economies of the Qu'appelle Valley First Nations bands before 1940 featured considerable reliance on activities and resources in the Qu'appelle Valley bottom, which included native hay, timber, beaver, muskrat, deer, berries, maple sugar, and important cultural and medicinal herbs and vegetation such as sweetgrass and sengaya root. The water of the river system itself is also fundamental to the band's existence, not only for domestic purposes but also for fishing, stock watering, and natural irrigation that was provided by the means of seasonal flooding of low-lying lands. The band sold excess hay off reserve and used the other resources in the valley, provided an additional source of income for the band. Lower water levels also permitted band members to cross the river to access hay and other resources on both sides. Several of the reserves had a strong attachment to economic, social, and cultural activities centered on the river habitat. On September 15, 1874, the chiefs of the Cree and Saulteaux Indians in the present-day southern Saskatchewan and Canada's treaty commissioners assigned the Treaty 4 at the Qu'appelle Lakes. The Crown promised to provide certain treaty benefits, including reserve lands for each band based on 1 square mile per family of 5. In August 1881, Dominion land surveyor John C. Nelson surveyed and set up 73 square miles of land between Crooked Lake and Round Lake as Indian Reserve 72. The Qu'appelle River formed the north boundary of Indian Reserve 72, which included excellent hay meadows and farming land.
Oh, that still burns. Where's the last one?
In August 1881, Dominion land surveyor Nelson surveyed Indian Reserve 72A, which comprised 96 acres of land as a fishing station for the Qu'appelle Band number 72 on the northeast shore of Crooked Lake. Prior to 1944, however, Indian Reserve 72A, which is Qu'appelle, was located on the northeastern shore of Crooked Lake at the outlet of where the lake flowed into the Qu'appelle River. Of the 96 acres of reserve land, 27.5 acres were transferred to the Hudson Bay Company by letters of patent. This reduced the size of the reserve to 68.5 acres. The Crooked Lake Provincial Park features stunning valley views and a beautiful lake from which the park gets its name. This park has numerous campsites, including several lakeside sites, a service center, hiking trails, a boat launch, fish cleaning station, and on nearby Cowessess First Nation is Last Oak, which is a 9-hole grass green golf course. Crooked Lake is located in the southern portion of east central Saskatchewan, about 30 kilometers north of the Trans-Canada Highway and 45 kilometers south of the city of Melville.
Levels out over here, so it's steep though. Fun though. No, they can't all be easy. Definitely not a kids and old people one. But the best thing about the Qu'appelle Valley Hills is when you get on the ridge cap, it's not going to be crazy vegetation. Like you have things that are up to your knees, but you also have lots of rocks and other things that make it easy to grab hold.
The majority of the south side of the lake is undeveloped and part of Cowessess First Nation and Saskatchewan First Nation. The lake produces an assortment of freshwater fish and crustaceans, including crayfish, clams, snails, northern pike, walleye, rock bass, small lake sturgeon, red suckers, dogfish, and yellow perch.
Ooh, that's poison ivy. Okay, jump that way. Go that way. At least it might not be, but we'll just not look at it and not think about it. And there's none over here, so yeah.
The lake is also a popular place for a large variety of summer water sports. The The Great Trail, formerly known as the Trans-Canada Trail, is a rural dirt trail that runs through Crooked Lake Provincial Park. It stretches 9.32 kilometers one way from Sunset Beach to Indian Point and is ideal for walking, hiking, cycling, horseback riding, and cross-country skiing. Portions of this section of the trail are on roadway and should be used with caution. Thanks for watching Saskatchewan Travelers as we explore the Crooked Lake Provincial Park. Join us on to next episodes and make sure you follow us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/SaskatTravelers or go to our website at www.sasknews.net, or you can go and look us up on YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're also on twitch.tv, so you can find us on there as well. And if you're really interested in a lot of the things we're doing here, we have our trail maps all on alltrails.com. You can go check out that website, and all the trails maps from every place that we have been in Saskatchewan will be right there on our profile. Thanks for tuning in, and see you next episode.